Hey Gabby, is this a cold open?
No, it's more of a warm open. I'm going to start the cold opens next week.
Oh, okay. Well, while we're here, let me just say to all our listeners out there, you and I have an Instagram and a TikTok that everybody should be following us on. We make some hilarious videos, all edited together by Gabby, who puts in hours of her work. So you need to go and see them and love them and comment and like them and all of the things.
And one of the best ways that you can support this podcast is by leaving a rating and review. So if you're on Spotify, Amazon Music, or Apple Podcasts, leave a review telling others what you like about the show. Also, I just want to shout out my friends on YouTube because I personally love the YouTube channel. And while we don't have a video component yet, we may one day. So make sure you're subscribed and also like our videos if you like them. If you don't, leave a comment about why you don't because that'll still help us out. Thanks.
Yeah. The day we have a video component is a day a part of my soul will die because I'll have to put on makeup and real clothes every single time we record.
Yeah, that's a big reason why we don't now.
Yep.
I'm currently in my PJs in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Same. I'm not wearing a bra. All right, everybody, let's jump into this episode. Welcome, fellow Disney Channel babes, whether you're from the nostalgic 90s
Or the awkward aughts.
or you're giving Gen Z. We're glad that you're here.
I'm Gabriella.
And I'm Natalie, and this is the podcast where we rave
And sometimes roast.
classic Disney Channel original movies.
You're listening to Once Upon a DCOM. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Once Upon a DCOM. I'm Gabriella, and I'm here with my always delightful co-host, Natalie. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm great. So we are two 90s babies on a mission to rewatch every single Disney Channel original movie, and we're bringing you all along for the ride. We are currently in spooky season, and so we're watching all of the Halloween-themed DCOMs for the month of October. So far, we have watched Under Wraps, the first ever DCOM, and Zombies, because apparently that's a Halloween movie, even though it has nothing to do with Halloween.
I don't know. It's on the Disney's list.
Yeah. We trust the Disney list, and it has monsters, so we'll give them that. Then we had an extra special week because we got to watch one of our absolute favorite childhood movies, Twitches.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the first one we had ever actually seen before, so that was nice. And then this week, we dove back into mystery to watch a movie that neither of us had seen before, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. So Natalie, initial thoughts on this one?
I don't want to spoil my thoughts quite yet. I'm gonna keep this close to the chest. I'll let you know after the recap.
Okay. Oh, I'm so excited now to hear what you're gonna say. I will save mine as well then. I didn't know if you had like a one sentence overview, but we'll move on.
I think I do, but I'm holding on to it.
Okay. Well, let us get into the mindset first. I'll give you a few stats on this movie and then you can give us our recap. So, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire is a very long title. It came out in the year 2000, right at the turn of the century. I was 5 years old. My gosh. It stars Matt O'Leary as Adam, the oldest son, Laura Vandervoort as Chelsea, his sister, Miles Jeffrey as Taylor, their little brother, Caroline Ray as Lynette, the mom, Charles Shagusanasi or something like that as Dimitri, and Robert Carradine as Michael Van Helsing, the vampire hunter, who we have seen once before.
Helsing. Van Helsing.
Helsing. Okay, let me try again.
He's from Dracula. That's the character from Dracula.
Ah, I did read that in the trivia.
He's a famous vampire hunter.
We are in the travel guide. Okay.
we are in the travel guide. That's a throwback to Lizzie McGuire movie, everyone.
Okay, anyways, Michael Van Helsing. And we have seen Robert, who plays him once before, but we'll get into that a little later. Okay, Natalie.
Okay, wait. I have to say, he came on screen and I audibly gasped.
I didn't get it at first. Because as you know, well, I didn't see the original. Anyways, we'll get to that. I was like, he looks familiar.
No, I lost my mind. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Tell us what happens in this movie.
All right. This movie centers around the Hanson family, which includes divorced single mother Lynette.
More divorce.
I know, honestly. There's
every movie but Camp Rock, I think.
You know, it's probably, I'm going to go with 50% of these movies have divorced parents because that's the divorce rate in America.
Especially the 90s ones.
I know.
Anyways, continue.
So, single mother Lynette, her 3 children, which includes Adam, a teenage boy who's obsessed with horror movies and vampires, Chelsea, his older sister, and their younger brother Taylor. So Adam and Chelsea both have plans for the weekend. He's going to this rock concert, and Chelsea has a date, but they both get grounded by their mom, effectively canceling their plans. Obviously, they're not happy about that. They both become determined to defy their mom and go to their events anyway, and they figure the best way to do that is to get her out of the house that night. So they arrange a blind date for their mom via the newspaper and an email chat. Very 2000s of them.
Newspaper.
Oh my gosh. The ads in the newspaper for men looking for women are just, anyway. Go watch the movie. If you haven't seen it, how dare you? Go see it.
It makes you be happy about dating apps.
We're going to talk about dating apps. We are going to talk about dating apps. All right. So upon their first meeting, Lynette is completely charmed by this mysterious and suave Dimitri. She agrees to a date with him, and everything seems great until the youngest brother, Taylor, sees Dimitri turn into a bat when he thinks no one is looking. And he realizes Dimitri is a vampire. His brother and his sister don't believe him, but Taylor has no doubts in his mind. By the way, Taylor is 8 years old. So he calls up a man named Malachi Van Helsing, who is a vampire hunter, obviously, for help. And Lynette goes out on her date with Dimitri. The kids observe some strange behavior from Dimitri, like how opposed he is to garlic, his reflection doesn't appear in a mirror, he's unnaturally strong, etc., etc. And finally, Adam and Chelsea believe it too. Dimitri's definitely a vampire, and their mom is in danger. There's a final showdown at the vampire's spooky mansion where the kids and the vampire hunter Van Helsing try to outsmart Dimitri, but he's too powerful and his hold over their mom is so strong that she can't snap out of her zombie-like state. But earlier, Adam told his brother that sometimes people can be broken out of a vampire's trance by true love, and it's Lynette's true love for her children that finally snaps her out of it. Lynette shoves Dimitri into the open coffin, and Van Helsing nails it shut with, like, vampire-resistant nails or something like that.
They're silver.
Sure. I clearly don't know enough about vampires. This movie was confusing to me. Anywho, everything I know about vampires is from Twilight. After that wild ordeal, Lynette asks Van Helsing if he'd like to come over to their house for breakfast, and he accepts. And as long as there are chocolate chips in them, he's happy. And surprise, that's her favorite too. And yay, that's the whole movie.
Wow. I was so disappointed by the ending. I would just like to start at the end. Nick and I both were like, that's it? Are you kidding me? Yeah. We sat through an hour and 23 minutes, which is not that long. This is one of the shortest ones. But I was like, for like nothing.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement. I felt like there could have been, at least we could have seen breakfast, maybe. I don't know. Like, you know, something a little bit more, because he's so cute and I love that actor and he's just so, like, sweet, and I really wanted to see the two of them, like, actually in a scene together.
Breakfast would have been nice. And I do love that actor and I did want to see more of him. So yeah, the ending was disappointing. I will say, the beginning got me. The opening tricked me this time. The first time it didn't with Under Wraps, but this one got me.
Okay, this was the opposite for me. So listeners, if you didn't watch it, again, what's wrong with you? Go watch it. It starts with like a movie in a movie, and I totally got it this time. Immediately, I was like, oh, this is a movie in a movie. But you didn't? I'm so proud. I beat you in one. I beat you.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I was like, this is interesting, I guess. It's pretty cheesy, but I guess that's, you know, par for the course. And it was just like, it was enough realistic, like a Disney movie, that I was like, yeah, this is probably the movie. And then it wasn't until it like jarred and you were suddenly in the family's living room that I was like, oh my gosh, they got me. Yep. And I appreciated that. And then to the point where I continued to think that that was coming back. Like, I was like making all of these theories in my head where I was like, okay, so the vampire hunter guy is like really old, but he looks young somehow. And like, this is from the past. Like, I thought it was like, you know, like National Treasure when it opens and like, and it's got Jackson from Hannah Montana and they're like in the carriage. I thought it was like that. He's like the great grandfather.
No, I know what you're talking about. It's just no one has ever used that as a reference for his most famous career points.
Well, guys, I don't know if you know, this is a Disney podcast, Disney Channel specifically. So I will be bringing up Hannah Montana.
So sorry.
Occasionally. So, anyways, I thought it was like that, where it was going to be like the whole rest of the movie we're harkening back to this like earlier scene. And so my
Mm,
brain kind of forgot that it was a movie in a movie. And so I kept thinking, like, oh my gosh, this is the guy from the beginning. And like, oh, the true love thing is coming back. And like, it was a totally
mm.
different direction because I just forgot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that maybe this is a good segue into my thoughts on the film. I
Yes,
think
go.
that perhaps you were wishing it was deeper than it was. And I was kind of in the same camp.
Mm hmm.
Yeah, I think that I just felt like it was like undercooked, I guess. Like it could have leaned
Mm
more
hmm.
into the comedy and been funnier, or leaned more into like horror and been scarier, or like just leaned like more into like the Disney Channel of it all and be a little bit more of both. But I don't know, it just felt like it was a really fun idea that was executed incorrectly, maybe, dare I say? I don't know.
I
I was very
completely hear what
lackluster.
you're saying. Yes. Yeah, and we talked about in a previous one, I think it was Under Wraps, how I was like, "Yay, I like that they didn't do too much." Because a lot of times I'm like, "Disney, do less." Like in modern movies,
Yeah.
I'm like, "This is so much going." And then Zombies was like an assault on the senses, and I was like, "Do less."
Zombies was too much.
This one, I was like, "Do more." Like there's so
Yeah.
little. It's such a short movie. Like I said, they could have added so much. You're totally right. I agree with you 100%. It was very like oh, what's the word? I like how you said underbaked. It was just very like there could be so much more flavor to this in so many different directions that they could have gone. And it's just unsatisfying at the end of the day. You're like, well, that was a movie. That was a very, very simple plot.
Underbaked, undercooked. I think that's the tagline for this movie. I really enjoyed the kids acting though. I thought all the kids were great.
Did you? Did,
I did
what?
actually. Yeah.
Wait, I have to disagree.
What?
Like,
Okay.
very, very much I disagree. I
Really?
thought the kids were the worst actors I've ever seen. Oh, wait, let me clarify. The main guy, Adam, I think, he
Mhm.
was great. And I would say the little brother was also pretty great. The sister made me want to pull my eyes out. I thought she was such a bad actress.
All right, well that's fair. But the boys were good.
They were good. His friend, however,
Oh no, his friend was a
what
terrible
was
actor.
happening with that guy?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's like the producer's son got hired on the film or something. I don't know if that's I shouldn't say that. I don't know if it was nepotism. He's probably a very, very wonderful guy and a great actor. But yeah, he left something to be desired. But the two boys, like Taylor and Adam, I think did really good. I actually like believed them and enjoyed
I
them.
think Adam got there over time. Like the sister grew to be slightly tolerable. Adam grew to actually be quite enjoyable. Like I feel like at the beginning I thought he was pretty bad too. And then by the end I was like no, actually he's really quite good. I think Taylor was the only consistently good one for me. The friend I was like, bro, I don't know if you guys are trying to go. Like it wasn't even clear to me if they were trying to make him dumb or if that was just how bad he was. I don't know, but he was definitely the worst. I think the bully was really bad.
Oh
Any of
yeah.
their friends were bad. Like I said, the sister was pretty bad, I think, until maybe the end. But I'll give it to Taylor. He was solid the whole time, and Adam definitely got there, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I think mainly what I meant by them being good is just that like I thought both of them were just very real and like endearing.
They are endearing. That's true. And actually, I looked up the trivia on IMDb, as I love to do, you guys know. And
Yes.
this was the kid, Adam. It was his first like film project ever. He had never been in a movie, a TV show, at least not on IMDb. This
Oh
was like his
wow.
first thing ever.
That's great. I love that for him.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, fantastic.
Okay, spoil it a little bit for later. Is he still acting?
Not really.
Ah, dang
It's a
it.
bit unclear. He
Okay.
kind of fell off the face of the earth in 2019.
Oh. Okay, we'll get to that.
Uh
Do
huh.
you want
We
to
will.
talk
Yeah.
about dating apps?
Yes. Yes. Let's talk about dating apps.
Yeah, I the way that they go about finding a date for their mom on in the newspaper first of all, and then like via email, like a cold email to someone they know nothing about, haven't seen a picture of, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll just meet him at a grocery store." Like that's
A
so
grocery
wild.
store.
It's so wild to me. But also, I disclosure to everyone, I met my husband on a dating app. And like I have to think about like that's sort of kind of what I also did. I saw
I
pictures
guess,
and
yeah.
we like chatted extensively before meeting, but that's pretty much what I
It's the
did.
same concept. You're meeting a stranger. I mean, I felt like the whole newspaper thing harkened back to what we were talking about with Smart House. It really is a reflection of the times. You're just
Oh
like,
yeah.
that would so never happen today. And yet you're kind of right. It is still happening just with technology. We've
Yeah,
kind
it's
of just
just
adapted it to be
it's
even
the
more
same
scary.
but different. Same but different for sure. It just cracked
Hmm.
me up. That's honestly all I had to say about it. I just thought it was so funny.
I thought it was actually very inventive, and I wish that they had talked about this more. This goes back to it being half baked. That the vampire's like method for finding women is like he's
Yeah.
using an online dating service, or well, he's using the newspaper, which then leads them to his email. And I was just like, really? This is your
Right.
method? Like, you can't just because this was like before dating apps were big and people did still meet like naturally in stores or at work or something. I'm like, there's no other way for you to meet women? Like, is this working? Has this worked with anyone
Apparently
else?
it's working. I guess it must be. It
Right?
seems
I
like
don't
a
know.
lot more effort than just like attacking someone in an alleyway. I mean, like, I also don't think you should attack people in an alleyway, but we're talking about vampires here, you know?
That was another thing. They did not explain his motivation, but at all.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, because at the end, he's like, oh, you're a bit young to be my queen to the daughter. And I'm like, I'm sorry, wait a second. You were making her your queen? I thought this whole time you've been saying you're hungry, which then implies you're going to like eat her or suck enough of her blood that she will not be alive anymore. But like this
Yeah.
whole time, you were just going to make her a vampire and like have her be your queen? Like, why do you keep saying you're hungry? Like, what?
Very confusing.
Like, why? So I guess that explains why he's not just attacking women in alleyways, because that would be if he was just going to like bite them or eat them or whatever. But in this case, it's like he actually wants to romance her, but then you're enchanting her anyways. Like, this movie makes no sense. The more I talk about it with you, I'm like, wait a second, why would you go through all the effort of romancing her if you can just put a spell on her? Like,
Yeah.
why would you go through this awful night with all these elements to it when you're just
Yeah.
gonna trance her into being a vampire anyways? This movie makes no sense.
Dare I say, Stephanie Meyer and Twilight might make more vampire sense than this film.
I think you're completely right.
I think sparkly vampires makes more sense to me than a vampire with no motivation.
At least they have some kind of like war going on with the werewolves. Like, there's like culture and history and intrigue. It's like
Granted,
they
those
have
are
like
4 giant books, and this is a 1 hour, 23-minute movie for
they
children.
could have done more. They just could have done so much more.
They should have done more, probably, but whatever.
I just need to know, did you call it at the beginning that they were going to do the old switcheroo on who was the vampire and who was the not vampire,
Well,
sketchy, whatever?
okay. I say for sure, but actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the moment I saw the actor for Van Helsing that like you were supposed to think he was the vampire, I gasped, and I was so like befuddled over him being in this movie because I didn't know that like I didn't get a chance to do that. But then once it happened, I was like, oh yeah, obviously. So yes and no.
Right. So as soon as we saw the guy in the trench coat hat thing, I was like, oh, they're setting us up. I'm pretty sure this guy is like the hunter, which of course, like I said before, I got confused. I was like, oh, he's the guy from the beginning.
Thank you for bringing up the trench coat. I have words.
Oh, go for it.
Okay. I'm going to start by saying my favorite character of this movie was Taylor, the little kid. And
Me
I
too.
actually really liked Malachi Van Helsing. He's delightfully quirky and sincere. And obviously, I love that actor. He's Lizzie McGuire's dad. Sorry if that's a spoiler. So, like,
They're probably
the relationship between Taylor and Malachi was so weird.
It was creepy.
And I have to say, why did the babysitter not freak out when Taylor brought a male stranger adult in a trench coat into the house? And then why did she let them leave with the stranger in a trench coat? Especially after he literally just said he was a vampire hunter and she's like, I'm sorry, you're a what now? Like,
okay, technically,
what?
The kid snuck out. The kid snuck out. She didn't let him go. So I'll give her that. But she is so neglectful. She was horrific. Worst character.
She didn't even panic. She didn't even stand up when this guy came in. He's like, oh, hey, this is a vampire hunter. I called him. And she's like, cool, sounds good. Vampire hunter, that's kind of funny. And you're like, there's an adult man in a trench coat and you just let him into your house.
They took like relaxed like idiot babysitter trope to such an extreme that it's like I cannot suspend my disbelief. This is
Oh no.
unnatural and
Oh,
not
I was
okay.
so
Nobody
uncomfortable.
wouldn't care. And
No, yeah,
also,
so
they
uncomfortable.
called her at like a moment's notice and she just
Yeah.
shows up and like has the whole night to babysit. I was like, this is so weird, this plot line. Like, just have him sneak out after being put to bed. Why do you even need her?
Right, right. And yeah, the two of them like just driving around town together. He's being like, "Where would you go dancing?" He's like, "Well, I'm 8, so like it was
Yeah.
just a little weird."
Sharing the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like I was
Yeah.
starting to get like a physical reaction to how uncomfortable I was. Not
Mhm.
because there was
Yeah.
anything necessarily wrong with it morally. I just was like,
Right.
this is so cringy and weird. This could have been cute and fun.
It was just weird.
I kind
It
of wanted them
was
to
just
have like
weird.
this sweet, like father son kind of bond. Like, I wanted him to like take him under his wing and be like a team, you know? And especially since they're kind of at the end giving this illusion that maybe he'll date the mom. And you're like, oh, if they already have this cute, established little relationship, that would be fun. But like, no, it's just weird. And the other kid, Adam, was the one who was obsessed with the vampire hunter in the first place. So then you'd think like he should be the one going on the mission with the vampire hunter because it's like his dream. And
Yeah.
then it's just very odd. The whole thing is so odd.
It was weird. I'll say the one redeeming quality I think this movie had was showing like the sibling dynamics between the like three kids, how like,
Hmm.
they all have clearly very different personalities and different like agendas at the beginning of the movie, but they all come together over like a common goal, like saving their mom. And it just kind of makes you think about like, I don't know, how your relationship with your siblings isn't like any other relationship in the world, you know? Like you might be
Hmm.
so different, but you will always be from the same family. You'll always have the core of who you are be the same.
I really like that you bring that up because honestly, that was refreshing for me that they didn't go with the trope of like older sister hates the boys, like in
Yeah.
Zathura with Kristen Stewart. Hilarious. Twilight. Anyways, that was
Anyways.
unintentional. That movie, like that kind of idea of just like everything you do is stupid and I'll never believe you no matter what. I liked that the sister, I forget what her name was, Chrissy or something,
Chelsea.
Christine, Chelsea, thank you. I like that Chelsea just kind of went with it and she was like, I will just blow off my date and like be here for you, Adam. Let's just figure it out together. And she like sticks around the whole time. And even when he kind of betrayed her with the whole date thing, she's clearly
Yeah.
upset, as she should be. But she gets over it so fast and she's like, this is more important. Like, I liked that part. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do think that was something that made it really real and heartfelt. That's like the Disney Channel, like heart of the film, you know? And I did
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it redeemed everything else for me.
Yeah, it definitely had that kids rule the world, young adventure kind of vibe that we were talking about from Under
Hmm.
Wraps that got set up with the first DCOM.
For
That's
sure.
kind of been a consistent thread ever since.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where I'm like, I don't really think I liked it that much. I liked it. It was cute, it was quirky, it was fine. But I wouldn't say like, "Oh yeah, I really like that movie." But I do want more of it. Like it's not one where I'm like, "I don't like it and it was horrible and I don't want to see anything else." I'm like, "I wish they would remake this and add more to it. It could have been really really good. I could have loved it."
Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. Like I feel like it's a good idea. It's funny. It's like the title alone gives you everything you need to know and it's just great, but it was just executed in a way that you were like, "What? And why?" And
Yeah,
no.
it's a little too simplistic. And it's got that same like fun adventure vibe as Under Wraps, like the kids on bikes just figuring out the world. But it didn't have the same level of like intelligence as
Or
Under Wraps
humor. Under
or
Wraps was so
humor.
funny.
It was so funny. Oh my gosh. If for some reason you skipped that episode, please go back and watch that movie and listen to our episode about it. Under
Yes,
Wraps was
please.
great.
It was great. It was so great. Oh, do you want to hear what the rest of the world thought?
Yeah, I do. I'm
All
really
right.
curious about this one.
I know, I was too. And I'm a little surprised actually.
Oh.
So as everyone knows, we go to Rotten Tomatoes for all our reviews. There is no tomato meter, as is common for these older DCOMs. Not enough critics actually reviewed them. There's one, though, and it's from 2020, so a more recent one. But it just says, dated comedy horror TV movie that has some scares but just lacks bite. Which I thought was quite humorous because vampires and all that jazz.
The puns are my favorite part of Rotten Tomatoes reviews.
Honestly. We should get into writing these reviews for each film that we watch.
We should, and we should do it under our like Once Upon a DCOM title.
You know, I don't think that's a pretty good idea. I don't know. Let us know what you think, listeners. That might be a really good idea. Okay, and then the audience rating is 51%, which is higher than I thought it would be.
That's in the same range as a lot of the other ones we've seen, and I don't think this movie was as good as most of the other ones we've seen.
It's
so that's
higher
interesting.
than the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Well, that's a sin, and we all need to go fix it. Everyone go review Lizzie McGuire.
It's just weird, right? I like more people like it than don't like. Anyway, it's whatever. But I'll read some of the audience reviews here. For the most part, the negative reviews didn't have like actual words attached. This had star ratings, which is a cop-out. If you're gonna rate something badly, tell me why. So here are some positive ones. Pretty good cast on a typical Disney plotting. A nostalgic way to spend an evening that's slightly spooky but won't give your children nightmares. And then nothing more than what you imagine it to be, a Disney Channel Halloween movie.
Okay.
And then my favorite one here is, I watched this movie with my sister on Halloween night. Sometimes it was so bad, it was funny. Other times it was way too boring and hard to get through. The plot is also really weird, ? But to be expected when you look at the title. I was like, yeah, homie, you get it. You get it.
Yeah, that's like exactly what she just concisely said in 2 sentences what we've been saying for 20 minutes.
Yeah, nailed it. She knows what's up.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I pretty much expected that. That's actually better than I think I expected.
Yeah, same. All right, where are they now, Gabby?
Yeah, so this one's interesting. I'm just going to preface by saying most of these people have been in some stuff, or a lot of stuff, that I don't know. So some of you may be screaming at me like, they're my favorite person from this. I'm sorry if I don't mention it, because also the adults especially have been in like over 100 movies each. And so it's a lot to like name what you may or may not know them from. But I'm going to get some notable things that you may recognize them from, and then a couple of them where they are now. So I'll just start with the kids. Matt O'Leary, who played Adam, this was his first movie, as we said. His other notable things you may know him from, he was Gary Giggles in Spy Kids 2 and 3.
He is?
So again, Hannah Montana. Emily Osment, who plays Lily on Hannah Montana, she's in those movies. It's her brother. She's the one with the spinning pigtails. Yeah, Gary Giggles, that's him. Oh my gosh,
I had no idea. That's so funny.
Yeah, actually, Nick recognized him immediately. Like, he's less than a second on screen, and Nick's like, that's the kid from Spy Kids.
I need to rewatch Spy Kids. Jeez, it's been a while.
Those are good. If we ever do the whole, like, not a Disney movie, but it feels like one thing, we should do Spy Kids.
Add it to the list.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, he most recently was Pax in the Marvel show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was in it a bit, and that was his most recent work. It was in 2019, so I assume perhaps the pandemic, I don't know, ended whatever he was doing, or maybe he's just taking a break. I looked him up, I did some research, and I can find nothing else on him, so there you have it. He's done a lot more that I just didn't know.
Well, good for you, sir.
And then Laura Vandervoort. Anyways, she played Chelsea. She's most known for playing Kara Kent, aka Supergirl, in the show Smallville. Apparently, people loved her character.
No. Yes.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yes, I've seen every single episode of Smallville more than once.
Oh, I have had it suggested to me so many times. Should I watch it?
Okay, listen. The first 2 seasons are hard to get through. Once you pass them, every single episode's pretty much the same. But if you like it, it's so freaking good.
Okay, so you knew her from that.
Yes. Oh, she showed up and I was like, she looks real familiar. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, there we go.
Okay. Yeah. So she got written out, but apparently she's trying to make her way into the DC universe somehow. So who knows? Maybe she'll be somewhere in the DC comic cinematic universe. I don't know. Do they have
Yeah,
a cinematic universe? I know there's the
sure.
MCU. Is
I
it
mean,
the
they keep
DCU?
recasting Batman, but I mean, who's to say what's right and what's
Okay.
wrong?
Well, there's a multiverse, so anything can happen. So that's her. There's not much else going on there. Couldn't find anything for the little boy Taylor. I think he pretty much just acted as a child, did some stuff through his teen years, and then he was done.
But he was the best actor.
I know. He
Oh,
was
that
in
hurts
one
my heart.
other DCOM. Actually, I'm not sure if this is a DCOM. I don't think it is. Stepsister from Planet Weird. Is that a DCOM?
I don't think so.
Okay, I've heard about it before. I've never seen it. He's in that. He's Trevor Larson. I don't know if that's the lead. I don't know if that's some nobody.
I went to high school to Trevor Larson. That's really funny.
Hilarious. Well, that's this character's name that he played in Stepsister from Planet Weird, also in 2000. So he was doing a lot more work in like 1998 through 2002. But yeah,
Well,
not much for him. So we're going to move on.
R.I.P. We missed you, Taylor.
Now getting into our adults who have done a lot. Obviously, as we've already said, we know Robert Carradine as Malachi Van Helsing, and he's the dad in Lizzie McGuire. So that's where you probably know him from.
Love, 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 love.
Yeah, he's fun. He's continued acting. I didn't know anything else he's done. So moving on to Dimitri, who was played by, I'm telling you, I didn't know half this. I was like, good for you guys. You're doing the thing. I don't know any of this. Charles Shagahusani. I'm making that up. I don't know how to say his name. He played Dimitri.
Gabby, he's a very famous actor.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah,
What's he done?
He was on Days of Our Lives for like a long time.
Oh.
He was in The Nanny. He has an Emmy for something, I'm pretty sure. He's also like British royalty almost. I think he's like a duke or a baron or something. Like, yeah, no, he's a pretty famous actor. You should know who that
clearly,
is.
I didn't research him enough. I looked up his IMDb and I was like, meh, nothing I know. Moving on. I looked him up in the news. I was like, meh, nothing important. Moving on. Wow. Sorry, guys. Thank God Natalie's here.
I mean, like, I don't think he's currently doing a lot, but like, he's done his time in Hollywood. That's what I'll say.
Thanks, Natalie.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's where he is. And then I have one other thing for him, but I'm going to wait because I've been building up. So Caroline Rhee, I think it's pronounced Rhee.
My girl.
I'm going to say it that way. She played Lynette, the mom. So obviously her big thing that everyone knows her for, and I think this is why you're so excited, is she was Hilda Spellman on Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yes, and she's so freaking good in that show.
I'm not going to lie, I don't remember much of that show, but I know I loved it, so I'm sure I loved her.
You know, that is something I haven't seen in a long time, and that's what we should rewatch next. After we finish all the DCOMs, we're going to watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Don't make promises. We don't know.
I'm making a promise. I am making a solemn blood oath to our listeners. Sabrina the Teenage Witch is our next series.
Natalie's really into Halloween season, making blood oaths.
I do love Halloween.
All right. Well, maybe we will do that, or apparently we will. She was also Linda Flynn Fletcher on Phineas and Ferb.
Oh, that's mom,
like she's been in like over. Yep, she's been in like over 100 episodes, like almost all the episodes. Any episode with their mom,
fun.
she was in.
I had no idea.
So that's her voice. She was in Christmas with the Cranks, and then also in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, there was like a 2-episode run where she was actually dating Robert. Not Robert? The other guy, Charles, that I don't know, that you said is really famous. He played Dimitri. Yep, him. They were in like 2 episodes together and they were dating in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So that's kind of fun.
Cute.
They got to work together romantically again.
I don't remember that at all, but good for them.
Yeah. Although I must say his version of romance in this movie was like very much threatening and terrifying. Yeah, and I kind of wanted her to run away.
Right. He was so annoyed with her the whole time. I'm like, you're not even good at dating.
Right?
Like if this your whole existence is to pick up chicks so you can eat them or unalive them, why are you being bad at dating?
Unalive them. Yeah, let's just put a pin in that he's a vampire. He just sucks as a dude. Like, yeah, he is so unaccepting of everything she loves, and it's clearly a bad date. I don't know why she continues giving him chances before she's spelled. Like, before she's cursed, spelled, whatever. She continues to try to date him, and I'm like, what is going on? He clearly doesn't want to be here. He's terrible to you. And he's not even like, even at the beginning, right? I'd say he peaks at the grocery store.
Oh, for
Everything after
sure.
the grocery store, I was like, you're kind of gross and mean and weird and creepy. And like, I wish that she hadn't even gone out with you in the first place, or like left at dinner.
You know, he reminds me of my ex-boyfriend. Super charming up front, but then the more you get to know him, you're like, meh.
Mm. Mm. Walking red flags. Do you watch Alex Myers on YouTube?
No.
He does this little cartoon animation thing where he's got like a parade that's like big red flag, and it's like da 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 da. That's how I felt about this guy.
I agree. Completely agree.
The last really fun thing about her is that she became a comedian apparently 35 years ago. She started doing like stand-up comedy. And she recently, like within the last year or two, started a show called I Identify as a Witch. It's like a comedy show with her Sabrina co-star Melissa Joan Hart. And so that show is still running. Yeah. I don't think it's like a huge, huge thing, but it's a thing. It's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. I would love that. I have to see that. She is
it's
so
for like
funny.
All Sabrina fans. So you should totally.
I should. I will say, I am making my sound like a bigger Sabrina fan than I am. I really do like that show. I think it's hilarious. I don't remember every episode. I haven't seen it in probably a decade, but I do really love that show.
Maybe you rewatch all of them, then go see the show and you'll appreciate it. Because I think they do a lot of comedy about their time on the show is kind of what I picked up from reading about it.
Well, that sounds delightful. Big fan.
Yeah, so she's doing well. And that's where they are now.
Yeah.
I have no idea where that horrible bully or the best friend kid are. I didn't even look.
Probably not acting. Sorry, that was rude. That was rude. All right. So, yeah, that was our perfect little DCOM for spooky season. Perfect might be a stretch. That was a DCOM for spooky season.
It was a movie.
It was a movie, yeah.
It is on Disney Plus, so it's 1 point ahead of Under Wraps in that sense.
Honestly. I wonder if they still play this on Disney Channel or if it's like one of those like archived ones that younger kids don't see anymore.
I kind of hope they don't.
They might invite strange men in trench coats into their house.
Yeah, no, respectfully play Zombies. Or better yet, Descendants. Because if Zombies is a Halloween movie, Descendants is a Halloween movie.
Not according to Disney Channel.
I will die on this hill.
All right. Before we go, it's time to select which DCOM we are watching next.
Yay! Final week.
Every single week, we randomly select a new Disney Channel original movie to watch. And all of October, as Gabby has said, we've been focusing on Halloween and on spooky season. So next week is the final week of October. So it'll be our final spooky episode for perhaps a while.
Coming in right in time for Halloween 2 days later.
I know. So exciting. Okay, so the options we have left are Halloween Town, Girl vs. Monster, Phantom at the Megaplex, and Don't Look Under the Bed.
No repeats, no sequels yet. But I may watch Zombies 2 and 3 before next year because I don't think I can hold out that long.
Oh, well, I don't think we have to wait until next year to watch more Halloween.
Don't tempt me. I would love to do more Halloween movies.
Yeah. I'm kind of really hoping it's Halloween Town.
Yeah, it was so much fun doing Twitches, and I don't know any of the other ones.
I feel like to me it's not Halloween season until you watch Halloween Town, you know? Like that was and continues to be like a staple in my house. And like, I don't know. I kind of want to, I hope that's it. Mm-hmm. We have a 25% chance. You like those odds?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Spin the wheel.
All right. I'm spinning the wheel. Look at it spin. It's spinning.
Do do do. I can tell from your breathing.
Yeah.
Good news.
Halloween Town. We're doing it.
Joy.
I'm so freaking excited.
What a great way to end the season. The Halloween season. Yes.
I know, right? Yeah. I think that's a perfect movie to end the season. I'm very, very freaking excited. I do love Halloween Town so much.
Me too. I don't remember it greatly, but I know I love it.
Oh, I watch it every single year, probably multiple times a year. I love that movie.
I have watched it since I was a kid for sure. I just don't think I have watched it very recently. I think the last time I saw it was 3 years ago. So, like, it's been a hot minute.
Okay. I think you're going to love it just as much as you always have.
I think so, too.
All right, everybody, go watch Halloween Town this week and join us back here wherever you get your favorite podcasts where we can talk about it and obsess over how much we love Halloween Town and we all wish that we could go there in real life.
Oh, I wish. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, listening on YouTube, comment below about what your Halloween costume is going to be this year. Or if you're listening to this at not Halloween season, what is your favorite Halloween costume that you've ever done?
It's a good question. I like that.
Yeah, it could be fun.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Once Upon a DCOM.
Like what you just heard? Leave us a rating and review. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at onceuponadcom.podcast and share this podcast with your Disney-loving friends.
A big thanks to Gabby for editing this whole podcast together.
Thanks, friend. And don't forget to subscribe because there's always a new episode on the way. This is Gabriella.
And Natalie.
Signing off with a sprinkle of pixie dust.
And a whole lot of nostalgia.